If you're 13 to 18 years old and you want to make money online, please watch this video because I genuinely believe it could change your life forever. In fact, it's a simple YouTube video just like this one that changed my life over 10 years ago, right before I was about to turn 12. Let me explain. I personally grew up in a broken household. My mother worked a very dangerous night job, and my father, to cope with the fact that he hated his job and his life in general, would often drink and get violent. He'd take his anger out on my younger sister and I. Growing up, there wasn't a single day I wouldn't hear my parents complaining about the price of bread or lettuce over dinner. But around the same time, I got into private middle school. Now mind you, it wasn't an expensive private school. However, some of the wealthy kids definitely went to that school. I could see their parents dropping them off in brand new Porsches, Audis, BMWs, while the rest of the broke kids like me had to take the crowded bus. I'd see these wealthy kids walking around with expensive clothes, the latest iPhone, and I was wondering what life could be like for them. I'd hear their stories when they would come back from their summer vacations, while I had been forced to stay in my small town all summer, essentially locked in my room because we couldn't really afford to go on nice vacations. And deep down I knew if only we had more money, then life would be incredible. My family and I wouldn't have to worry about the price of bread or lettuce ever again. We could afford to go on vacation a couple times a year and just enjoy life a lot more. My mother would no longer have to work a dangerous night job. My father wouldn't have to keep a job he hates, instead he could follow his passion. So ever since that day, I became obsessed with the thought of becoming rich, because I knew the problems that money couldn't solve would be the same type of problems that we would all have to face at some point in our lives, no matter what, such as the loss of a close one. But in the meantime, when you're young, full of vitality, well, if you had money, life would be incredible, because you'd realize there are no limits to this game that we call life. So one day, I had the random idea to type how to get rich in the search bar on YouTube, and that is when I stumbled upon the video that changed my life forever. It was a video by an online entrepreneur who showed how much money he made with his online business. In the last month alone, he had generated over $70,000. I was absolutely shocked. I wondered, could you really make that much money on the internet while you're traveling the world? That's exactly what he was doing. So I started to watch more and more of his content and I got inspired. Then I discovered a few more similar creators and I binge watched their content as well. During that time of my life, I learned a lot about human psychology, about sales, about email marketing, about sales funnels, and many other things. At the time, because I couldn't afford his affiliate marketing course, I got my knowledge from watching free videos on YouTube. I remember I would often go to bed very late at night, even though the next day I had to get up at 6:30 a.m. to get ready for school, because I wanted to discover the secret to success. And so starting when I was around 11 years old, I decided to try starting my own businesses. I've tried pretty much everything you can think of, all the way from selling shoutouts on Instagram to doing dropshipping with paid advertising, and then later on using organic marketing. I saw no success online until I transitioned into selling services and digital products. That's how I was able to make $1,000 in one single day at only 21 years old and coming from a low middle class background. But there are a couple of things I really wish someone could have told me when I got started in the world of online entrepreneurship. The first thing you need to understand is that pretty much everyone around you will think that you're crazy. Very few people will actually believe in you when you start your first business. Not only because you have zero track record when it comes to achieving anything business related, but also because you'd be surprised to learn that a lot of people, even people that you love, don't actually want to see you succeed. But I genuinely believe that if someone wants to live your life, you should let them go. Respect yourself enough to let go of someone who doesn't even support you and who wouldn't even be there for you in times of need. In life, you'll typically discover that only a few people will actually stick with you, and those are your real family. So cherish these people. Loyalty is rare. Do you know how many times people told me to get a real job instead of starting a business? Do you know how many people told me I would never achieve anything when I got started? Be prepared to receive lots of criticism and to have people doubt you when you start chasing your dreams. But once you make it, all these people will come back, they'll reach out and they'll be like, hey, what's up? I always knew you'd make it. Sure, buddy, whatever you say. Now you have to ask yourself, what's my why? Why am I doing this? The reason I started my first online business years ago, which led me to where I am today, after many years of struggle and of sacrifice, was because I wanted to experience true freedom and true abundance. It made me sad to see my parents breaking their backs for breadcrumbs. It made me sad to never be able to do any of the things I wanted because it cost money. money. I thought, we are all going to die soon, so why should life just be about working to pay your bills, to pay taxes, and that's it? Growing up, I saw how the pain of regret affects people, and I saw it especially well with my father. Believe me, when you work a job that you hate, it makes you resentful, and it sours the relationships that you have with people. And what I've found to be true from my own experience is that until you know exactly why you are going to do whatever it takes to succeed, until you know exactly why you are going to work your ass off every single day until you find success, then you will find yourself stuck in an endless cycle of self-sabotage. Now, if you want to make a lot of money, you need to shift from being a consumer to being a producer. Remember this quote: consumers spend money, producers make money. Now, we all consume. We eat food, we watch Netflix, we wear clothes, we buy iPhones. That is consuming. But a lot of people consume far more than they produce, and that's why they're not making as much money as they would like. It's not the person who reads the book who makes the money, it's the one who writes it. It's not the person who watches Netflix that makes the money, it's the one who owns it. So I'm not saying that you have to never consume and only produce, that's not realistic. However, you do need to focus on producing more than you consume. If you make the shift, you will never have to worry about money ever again. Now, you have to know that just because you work hard doesn't guarantee you will obtain the success that you want. Why? Because if you're working on the wrong thing, it doesn't matter how hard you work. All you'll end up doing is exhausting yourself and going nowhere in the end. After struggling for years and failing many businesses, to then generating over 36 million views on social media in less than 6 months and making $1,000 in a single day at only 21 years old, I came up with my own formula for success, which I boiled down into a simple mathematical equation. Success equals hard work plus opportunity plus timing. Everybody can work hard, that's not the hardest part. Plenty of people from all over the world work their asses off every day, yet they make pennies. So what matters the most is the opportunity that you're working on. You can't become a millionaire by making fries at McDonald's, but you can become a millionaire by selling services or digital products. And then there's timing, and it's the only part of the success equation that you don't control. You have to do the work and to be working on the right thing long enough to actually succeed, but no one can tell you how long it's going to take. That said, if you follow a proven step-by-step framework, you will go faster. Why? Because you won't have to figure out everything on your own, which could take you years, decades. It took me 10 years from the day I started my first online business to the day I made $1,000 in one single day. And that's because I had to do it without mentors, which is why I've recorded a free guide in which I explain in detail how I went from making $0 per month to making over $1,000 in a day at only 21 years old. And all of that starting from nothing. In that video, I'll also share with you how you can copy my step-by-step process and the 2 best paths to $5,000 to $10,000 per month. I'll leave the link in the description. With that said, I'm waiting for you on the other side.